For those of you, thank you for viewing. Listening to Who's Your Heat Radio. You're tuned in live on Who's Your Heat Radio. So thank you again. You're listening. Not only that, but we are streaming on other sites. We're streaming on our YouTube. I just want to say thank you to production Jackie Roper Jr. that's in the background. Look, man, thank you so much, Jackie. We appreciate you, man. To Fox Man Marketing, man, it's such a great partnership. To the man in the background with the keys, Mr. Henry Williams Jr. Look, that's the maestro that y'all listen to our special guest, my friend, my brother, Mr. DeShawn Benn. We're going to get to the interview in just a couple of minutes. But before we get to the interview, we just want to let you all know that every day the live show is on. You can catch us. All you have to do is look up the times. Look at the times. That Sunday through Saturday, we're on every single day. All right? And on Sundays, we're on multiple times. All right? So you guys don't want to forget that. And without further ado, again, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to introduce my good brother, DeShawn Benn. How are you, man? Good? Good, man. Well, look, I don't want you to be nervous, man. Just kind of sit back, relax. We're gonna talk about you, about your life, where you come from, and we'll start there. And matter of fact, we'll just start there. Where are you from, man?
So I'm from here.
Okay.
I grew up in the Chicago area most of my life. I was born in Mississippi, but I was raised here.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, everywhere from South suburbs and still in South suburbs.
Yeah, definitely. And so we brought you on to interview you because life is special. We call this Word Wednesday. Yes, we call this Word Wednesday, but there's so much more than just the word that we read every day. Our word, our lives are the word. And so tell us about your life. Some of the things that you've experienced. We want your testimony to be on record so that people know that they too can make it, even in their lives as they're struggling with things.
Yeah, so probably the biggest thing is, the most recent thing is starting a family. We got married last October.
Hey, congrats.
Just celebrated our wedding anniversary.
Nice.
We just bought a house 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Like I said, we just had a baby 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So, life is moving fast. It's coming fast. But, life is good right now.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my wife, and that's one big thing with us is we make sure that we praise Him at all times.
That's it.
As love, and we were just going through, just how good life is. One of my good brothers, they told me, he said, God blesses you, but he said for some reason I feel like He blesses you differently when you're married. Once you make that union, once you make that bond.
Yeah.
And it's really I feel like that's really a testimony that He gave me that now I can give to somebody else.
Well, how old are you? Number one.
Okay. I'm 30.
Okay, you're 32.
Yeah.
So you just got married last October.
Yes.
And then you just had a baby, 4 months ago? Wow. So your life is like completely shifted, in a matter of a year or so, a little bit over a year. Yeah, so tell us about that transition.
So the transition is really I feel like nothing gets you ready for it but actually being in that
Yeah.
situation. Me and my wife, we have, one of my elder brothers, he told me, he said, the thing he enjoys about marriage is he's been married for 40 years. He said the thing I enjoy about it is, it's, he's like, I'm 62 now.
Yeah.
And he was like, me and my wife can still lay in the bed and laugh and joke.
Yeah.
And every day we're still discovering each other. Every day we're finding something new about each other.
Wow.
That's the thing that I think most people don't realize is people aren't static,
Right.
So my wife, she might like something today, and 3 months from now, it's certain foods that she liked when she was younger, and now I buy it for her, and
her taste change.
Yeah, and it's like that's the thing, you have to constantly rediscover and and explore your partner. Make sure that you understand that what was true yesterday might not be true.
You're right. You're definitely right. You're definitely right. And so, were you guys dating before you got married, or how did that go?
Yeah, so it was actually kind of a curious situation. We dated in high school.
Wow. Okay.
So
Okay.
We dated in high school, like through, we go to college high, and it was a scenario where this became a thing.
Yeah.
But we never really lost touch. Over the years, we went out talking, and we kind of just wandered into each other's lives at a certain point. And, it just kind of it was natural. It was organic, and
it progressed.
And that's what I said. I was like, I really wasn't looking for that in that. He was just a good friend to me, but it kind of evolved into something that, like I said, it was organic. It wasn't forced. Nobody felt like they were coerced or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was, like I said, it felt good. It felt good to kind of, it kind of felt like, we were just friends, and I just looked up now. Okay, yeah, we're, like now we're official. Now we're, talking about engagement. Now we're talking about family.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's awesome, man. And then, of course, with myself, I've been married almost coming up on 16 years. It'll be 16 years in February 22nd to be exact. That I'll be married 16 years, and then in that case, I understand that your life it changes. Your spouse changes. Their their habits change, their desires change, and their love language is flexible. Um, can you speak to even how your life has changed, even not just marriage, but now with a child?
Uh, it's changed. Marriage, marriage taught me something. That's the thing I'm always trying to improve. And sometimes to a fault, my wife tells me I go through a lot of things analytically, but I'm an engineer, so that's how it kind of goes through my brain. So I always analyze things, want to optimize. But first, the biggest thing is, I had a conversation with her because, I felt a certain way about certain things. It's like, I wanted to be able to convey it to her.
Got it.
But not in a malicious, spirit.
Yeah.
But just to say like, hey, if certain things bother you or bother me, we should be able to talk about them without, having a, have a blowout, knockout, drag out, argument.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, I tell her is, I am flawed.
Right.
That's me. I'm gonna always try to be my best, but I'm flawed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think you can, accept that you're flawed as well.
True.
But just like I said, I in bits and pieces. I'm not sure who said it, but he was essentially saying that with the partner, if I'm imperfect as a husband, then I need a certain mercy. I need you to grant me certain mercies to be able to grow and be better.
Yeah.
But twofold, when I turn around, I have to extend you that same grace as a wife, as a mother, as a, whatever it may be. So it's never a one-way street of saying I'm this and you're that. It's like, hey, the same way you fall short, I fall short.
Yeah.
And it's my job to, hey, you can get down on yourself. My job is to pick you up, know. And that's the big thing is we have to constantly remind ourselves of one. Einstein had a great quote I live my life by. He said, problems cannot be solved in the same mindset they were created.
Wow.
If a problem was created in hate, you can't solve it in hate. It has to be solved in love. So, you know, even when sometimes she gets upset, and I say, hey, you know what? Let's calm down. You know, let's, you know, hey, I might have came at it wrong. But it's like just that calm spirit, she kind of, you know, comes to, hey, okay, let's sit down and talk. Why should I be yelling if he's not?
Yeah.
And vice versa. Sometimes I might wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and she just looks at me, hey, give me a kiss. You can't be mad.
Right. I get that.
But yeah, it's a lot that, you know, it changes, you know, from being a single man to marriage, because, you know, when I was single, I had my own place.
Yeah.
Didn't have anybody else to.
Right.
And hey, if I wanted to not come home for 4 days, I could do that.
Right.
You know, if I wanted to up and go fishing for 12 hours and turn my phone off, I could do that. But, you know, she made it very apparent very early, like, that's not going to
You gotta be accountable.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you know, like I said, my daughter, every day when I get home,
yeah,
she's waiting.
Wow.
She can't read the clock, but she knows. But it's just like, it's stuff like that. It's just like, you know, like I said, the first thing she does, she lets me know everything about her. She lets me know, and it's just kind of like when I come to the house, I just kind of go through the rounds. But it's a change that I think is, you know, welcome when you feel like, you know, you're doing something greater with your life.
Right.
When you're joining a union that's making you better as a man, you know, we're meant to be paired up. We're meant to be, you know, together. You know, we're not meant to be alone. So it's like,
man, can you say? See, I don't think they picked that up because you said we weren't made to be alone. You know, it's a lot of people, and that's what really drives me, because a lot of people out there, you know, they're saying, well, love don't live here anymore. But yet you desire to be with somebody else. So how do you be with somebody that you can't love? That doesn't make too much sense. But here it is, you know, what you said is we're not made to be alone. No man is an island. No man stands alone. And those are important facts. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Life Show. My name is Tyrone Brown Jr. And of course, my special guest, my brother, DeShawn Benn, is here. He's talking about his life, giving his testimony on record so that people that are going through something, maybe something similar or exactly what he's going through, then you can know that, look, there's life after, you know, you're going through whatever you went through. So, you know, here it is, you're married now, have a daughter, and then your college, you know, you went to college. How long did you go to college? 4 years?
Yeah, I 4 years. When, you know, like I said, it was, the situation was, it was a situation where I got into it, and like I said, just kind of didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it was really small, private school. It was maybe 1,000 people. And I, you know, after about a year, I didn't really care for it.
Right.
But then I kind of got to an impasse where I wanted to transfer. They didn't want to accept my credits. And I'm like, okay, you know, am I pretty much going to start over?
Right.
Or I'm going to stick through? And I said, hey, I'm going to stick through. And, you know, like I said, it's never too late to like do anything. I want to go, you know, but that makes it easier. If I have a bachelor's degree, it makes it easier to go and continue education and stuff like that. But it was really, you know, like I said, it's lifelong bonds that I formed when I was in school. You know, a couple of my friends that, you know, to this day I still talk. We still, you know, converse. We still talk on the phone. One of my good friends is in Minnesota. I go up there at least once a year and visit them. So, you know, we're kind of growing our families together. So it's like, you know, we're going through the same stages at the same time.
Definitely. Well, I brought up the school aspect because not a lot of African American young men are cognizant of education. You know, now me, look, I ain't gonna even front. You know, for me, high school was enough stress. I don't even lie. Look, I barely got through high school, but I try to tell people they may not listen to me because I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college. You know, I tried to go to college. It did not work out. But here's one. Here's a man that went to school and finished. Can you give some insight as to the value of what education means to African American men?
Well, the biggest thing is, and I'm a big advocate of it. I went to college, but my young cousins and things like that, I told them, first off, like you said, it's not fair.
Right.
It's some people who are going to go into trades, and some people who are going to go straight to the workforce. There's some people who are going to do vocational stuff, and some people who are, like I said, they need time to explore before they jump in. And I think the biggest thing with me was that I kind of had a rough outline. Like I've always been drawn to, as they call it, STEM. Okay. Science, technology, engineering. So when I went to school, I kind of, I switched my major once, but I kind of knew I'm going to be science related. Right. But the crazy thing is that you say that about Black people. So our school was small, it was 1,000 people. Okay. But out of, we had a lot of satellite schools and stuff, but everybody came for graduation. Okay. So when we went to graduate, it was maybe 800 people in the STEM program. Me and my friend, we were the only two Black males that graduated with a science degree. So, and the thing is, I tell my cousins, I tell everybody, it's so many programs for STEM. Like I said, there's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They literally have such a large deficit that, there's certain programs that will completely pay for you to go to school. If you go to, if you go to certain schools, sure. They need, people of color, they need minorities, period. That's Black men, Black women, white women, everybody. Yeah. And we really get into it, and I think, a lot of people kind of, they don't really look at it because they don't understand some of the things, And that's what I was talking to one of my friends who graduated with me. We both environmental science. But I kind of broke it down to him, just like, how could you ever want to be an engineer if you don't know what an engineer does? Right. How could you ever want to be actually if you don't even know what that is? Sure. How could you ever want to do something or be something? But like you said, they see entrepreneurs, they see business people, they see marketing, they see, telecommunications, they see all these things. But, those things, like I said, there's so little participation on our part in it that they don't on a regular basis see. Like I said, you see more lawyers, you see more doctors than you see engineers. Yeah. You see, and it's like you said, it's kind of that exposure. Sure. So once you start getting into, broadening your horizons, like I said, it starts with, the high school and the middle school and stuff like that, kids to have a knack for, me, I knew I was doing something because, in my junior year in high school, my sophomore year in high school, I did chemistry. And my teacher, she said, you should be in AP classes. Yeah. And she put me in the pre-AP class next year. And, my teacher, he told me, he was like, not a lot of people understand physics. Right, right. The people who do understand it, like it's, like I said, it's their life. Right. Usually they go into physics, they understand it because, it's not something that, it's not a language most people speak. It's almost like a whole different language. Yeah. But you get into it and you start realizing that, with certain exposures, like I said, people see the business people, they see the lawyers, they see the doctors, they see the people who have the, the highly sought after job. Sure. They see the people who have money. They see the people who have the, the things that go along with the salary. And like you said, it's just a scenario. They don't see actual. They don't see, they don't see a whole lot of, you're starting to see it more, but computer, computer programmers, tech, stuff like that. But it's really an exposure thing. Like I said, I was, I've always been good at math. I've always been good at science, and I kind of gravitated towards it. So, I really, kind of opened the book myself. But, most kids, if you don't expose them to it, they're not going to go seek it out. Sure, sure. They're going to go say, hey, what can I do to get me the most money? Which isn't always the best route because, happiness doesn't always lie. Right. It's really a passion. Okay, how can I do what I'm passionate about? And then how can I monetize that? How can I make money?
Oh my goodness. See, you hitting on some things that I've been talking about for a long time, what you're passionate about. And that's what you're talking about. That's what you're driving at. Because you could have went to school for anything, but would it have given you the satisfaction that you have for your passion? And that's what you went to school for, because you knew that, hey, I really love this subject, but you have to first be exposed to it. Yeah.
Once you get that exposure, like I said, it's the same thing as any rebel. Because I'm at a point now where I love barbecue.
Yeah.
I just cooking in general. So my thing is like, okay, well, how can I monetize? How can I make this, make sense for me? Because over everything, I love to cook. I love, just trying stuff in the kitchen, do different things. And in my mind, it's like, okay, well, there has to be a plan. Yeah. That's route one. Yep. And then it's just like, from there, then you have to expand. Okay, do I need capital? Do I need investors? Do I need a spot? Well, like, where do I start? And that's the thing is, so many people look at things and it seems insurmountable, and it's just like, just start moving. Just start somewhere. And it's just really, really important because just that grind, just that hunger, just that going out to get stuff. And I'm sure you brothers can testify to that, but it's just the places and the rooms you put yourself in when you're receptive. A really big thing, like my grandmother, she didn't have a job, she had no experience. She said, okay, well, she went to the company. Hey, I would like to do this, but we're not hiring. Well, I'll volunteer. I'll be an intern. I'll do whatever. And at that point, she's looking like that skill is more valuable to me than whatever money I'm making. Man! And it turns out like she was really good at it, and she became one of the best in her company at it. And it was just like I said, it's really what are you willing to do? Yeah. What are you willing? Like I said, everybody doesn't have the same means, but like I said, there's always a way. And as long as you grind and you push your mind to it, you can figure it out. But like I said, they don't have to be big steps. They just have to be steps.
Man, you don't understand. A lot of people, they may see this and they're like, oh man, I know this already. But the way that you just broke it down, everybody needs to listen. And I'm not just saying for everybody out there, I'm talking about me as well. Because there's some things that I'm looking into, and then, we always want what do you call it? We always want the fast money. We always want the quick money. But if I give you a fish, then you'll only eat for today. But if I teach you how to fish, then you can eat for a lifetime. And so what you're talking about is growing into your passion and then allowing other people to teach you how to develop that fish and how to skin it, how to scale it rather, how to gut it, and then how to fry it, and then to add what your passion is into that fish. Man, that's a lifelong process that nobody can really tap into unless they're passionate about it.
That reminds me of Will Smith. He said that he said you have talent, you have skill.
Yep.
And he was saying, one you get from you just born with naturally, but talent it only comes from hours and hours of working on that skill. And you get to the point where there's no shortcut around it. You might be born with that, but just like I said, LeBron James might be born to play basketball, but like you said, $1 billion a year to training and rehab, and you can't, like you said, you can't, if you cheat yourself, you're cheating yourself. Like I said, you can't take shortcuts and it's just like, it's gonna show itself.
Yeah, it is. Man, this is really good information, especially for not just our youth, but those that are on the rise. with their lives, and they're taking different shortcuts. I tell a lot of the different people that I come in contact with that the Life Show podcast is started in my house. This this right here is started in my house, and in a little bit over a year, everything that you see, it changed. And so now to, as you say, monetize it, it's easy because we did it without money for so long until now we have stuff that's built on that now people will pay for the information. That's what you're talking about. And building on what you're really passionate about. I really love that. I really love it. And that's information that good that people that will listen, that they will grow from. They will grow from. And so, even having this aspect of life, even knowing what you know now, if you could go back, would you do anything different?
So the purpose that my grandmother used
Okay.
because I used to just find the weirdest thing, but it's I don't know that I have an answer for that because because on one hand, if I knew what I know now, that but some of those lessons, were vital. Like you said, your mama told you not to touch the stove, and you burned yourself. That's when you stop. Touching the stove. But it's just like that's in your brain. That's something that built that character. That's something that made you who you are.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like who's to say that I would be the same person with the same mindset if I hadn't made the mistakes that I made, if I hadn't done the things, like I said, if I had, fast tracked it and I didn't have the understanding to appreciate things, or if I didn't build and have those challenging moments in life and that built my character and, I wasn't the person that I am today.
Sure.
And it's just like, although I'm not perfect, I feel like, from every scenario in life, negative or positive, I learned something.
Yeah.
And it's to go back and undo that. It's just, fundamentally, would it change who I am or how I see things, or would I still go through those same things again because I hadn't gone through them?
Yeah.
And it's just, like I said, it's something to it's something for your mother to tell you what hot is, and for you to feel what hot is. And it's I really don't have an answer for that, but like I said, me and my wife, we have a thing, like I contemplate things, she contemplate things, we'll kind of dwell on them.
Okay.
And we'll kind of, hey, you got about 15 more minutes. After 15 minutes, that's it. You're done. Negative, positive, up, down, you just get it out of your system, and it's just like, that kind of primes you into like, man, it's, the things that I've done, even if it was 5 minutes ago, I can't change it.
Right.
So what do I learn from it? How do I grow from it?
Yeah.
How do I, like I said, you can't unspill the milk.
Sure.
So you get into that space, that negative space, you get into that head space, and you kind of start to doubt yourself, start, being negative, you start to get down on yourself and stuff like that. When it's really like, you have to be solutional.
Right.
It's like I can't dwell on the fact that the milk spilled. How am I going to get some milk?
Yeah. Well, would you say at this point in your life, would you say that you're more calculated or you take more chances?
I feel like any person has a good balance.
Okay.
I like I said, a lot of the people I hang around, and that's one thing. I soak up all that knowledge.
Got it.
But it's a big thing. Like my mother, she's very calculated, and and this is the thing. When somebody asks her a question, she might know her answer, but she never answers the person. Let me get back to you. Because in her mind, she's like, I want to go over it. I want to have the cons. I have to know the content. So you might be asking something, somebody's coming right back. And it's just like, you're never on the spot. You're never in a situation. My word is my bond. And if I give you my word, Even if I didn't know the context, my word is still a word. But I feel like there has to be a good balance. You have to calculate. Once a wife, once kids, once significant bills come to the picture, you have to be calculating.
Yeah.
You have to understand what you're doing and how you need to do it. Have a general outline of what needs to happen. But at the same time, I have to be able to adapt.
Oh yeah.
There's certain situations in life that and I'm sure you can attest to it. That's going to present itself. And it's just, I'm here for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You can capitalize, or you can, ponder it, and the moment's gonna pass you by. And at that point, you have to, I feel like everybody has that spirit of discernment. And I tell my wife all the time, I was like, man, you think about it, like when you were a kid, most of the time you got in trouble, you got hurt, it didn't feel right before you did. And I'm just like, and that's the thing. It's like sometimes you have to stop and hey, everything can't be taken at face value, but like sometimes you need action.
Yeah.
But like you said, for the most part, when there is calculations to be done, when there is things that preemptively can be done, that's the thing to do. Like I said, sometimes life just throws you a curveball and you say, hey, I have to figure out.
Either you gonna stand there with the bat in your hand or you gonna take a swing.
Yeah, and it's, like I said, I tell my wife, that's one thing I don't have to go back to, God willing, I make it into old age and say, man, I wish I would have did this. I could have did that. I should have did this when I had the chance. I had the opportunity to do this. It kind of passed me by. And I was like, that's things that kind of sit on my, kind of sit on me. I'm just like, what, if the moment's there, if it feels right, if it, everything seems to go through. Outside of that, just, like I said, calculate, you have to plan.
Yes.
That's just true.
That's the biggest thing, I think, especially now today, that well, let me put it like this. In this season of COVID, with this pandemic that we're in, we all live it. It's not that any race or any certain sect of people are not susceptible to it. But we're all in it together. But, when this thing first, popped out, everybody was saying, well, it's culture sensitive or only this race gets it.
Right.
Until they found out, oh, no, everybody can get it. I don't care if you're rich, poor, short, tall, whatever you are, you can get it. But in this day and age, we have to be more, not just calculated, but we have to be more understanding. I think everybody takes things so serious now until we're not socially acceptable to each other. And even, I think that's where we fall into depression because that's why we're so hard on ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves until we are so unacceptable to everybody else until we get drawn into our own selves to where we draw in until, everybody that says something outside of what we believe, we instantly get offended. And I think that's an issue, in where we live and how we live and how we go about our daily business. Even it affects relationships, husbands and wives and, so on and so forth. But this world is changing. And what you said, talking about, just make a decision, regardless of whether it's a good or bad choice. You're going to learn from it. But, did you, the thing is, you got to take responsibility for the choice you made. And that's all a part of growing up. You being, 32 now? You have to mature even in the relationship that you're in and being a new father, maturing into that role everybody has to mature into their role. You know, at some point in time, with you, especially with you now, is there things that you did as a single man that you still enjoy doing now that you can't do because of, being married?
Oh, yeah, that's and that's a big one. I have a really close mate group. It's about 6 of us.
Okay.
Really close. And it's to the point, like, we were 23, 25. We literally saw each other every single day.
Wow.
We, like I said, we would come to my house and watch the game. We would watch, whatever was on the game, we chat it up. Significant others are invited, everything. And, life is kind of, pulling us in,
Yep.
okay,
Different directions.
different jobs, different careers, different time, different time. And it's, we just get to that point. That's one thing, like I said, that we can't do that as much. But, as well, like, I was a lot into car idea. And it was just like, when it's just me and I don't have to, I can spend all my money happy next week because, it's just me. That's my prerogative. But it's just like, not only was that an immature way of thinking, but, it's just like, okay, well, you never know what's going to pop up. You never know, you never know what's going to happen, especially with all this COVID stuff. Because, it scared a lot of people because it's like, what happens if they say you can't come to work?
Right. And what do you do?
Because it was some people I know, they, the job back up.
Yep.
You don't get that.
Yep.
Right away.
Yep.
So can you make those 3 or 4 weeks? Can you make it to those 3 or 4 weeks? And it's just like, it makes you prioritize.
Yeah.
It pulls you and say, hey man, hey, I need to make sure that, if nothing else, I can cover X, Y, and Z.
Yep. Yep.
It's that whole COVID thing just kind of, but it's with being married, I feel like the biggest thing is the commitment that you have to that person. And if and that's the big thing I told my wife, we got married and I was like, read our vows and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, what stood out to me the most is, when you find they said, forsake all others.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm like, I don't know how it hit you, but I'm like, that hits me because that means for
everybody.
It's God and then it's you.
Yep.
And it's just like, that's the thing is, if this person calls in and you call me, I gotta go with you. Because that's like you said, we're meant to be together. We're meant to, and I have to feel my end up, she has to feel hers. Because vice versa.
Yeah.
If I call, she, that's the expectation. And that's the biggest thing. So it's like sometimes it might be, hey, I might want to go out, hang out with my friends, or we might want to go fishing, or we might want to do X, Y, Z. Hey, I'm not feeling too good. I need to talk, or I need, I need this, blah, blah. I want to go do this.
Sure.
And it's just like, no problem.
Right.
And that's the thing. There's no contention here. Yeah. There's no, like I said, I have good friends because they understand. Okay, sure. That's a different level of responsibility. That's a different level of, together. So it's like, okay, we might have made plans, but, wife needs me. And, like I said, that's that union, like I said, forsake all others. That union bringing that together, making sure that stays how it's supposed to be. It's a full-time job.
Man, it is. And not only marriage is a full-time, being a father, being a parent is a full-time job. So in all actuality, when you marry and you have children, guess what? And plus you working, you got 3 full-time jobs. So you don't have no time to be messing around. You don't have no time to be, messing up with your time and responsibility. That's major, man.
And that's one of the big things that I kind of like about now is, if people respect that marriage, then they're going to find a workaround. They're going to figure out, hey, okay, we want to go hang out. Hey, can me and my wife come by and we can do dinner or something?
Right.
Or hey, we just got a puppy. You can bring the kids over and do it. So now it's like it's double duty. But like you said, it's not as okay. Well, we can't kick it without the wives. It's just like like I said, I don't have that kind of marriage.
Right,
like
right.
I'm trying to dump her. I'm like,
right.
Like I said, if she's not invited, then I'm not.
I'm not. Yeah, it's true, and a lot of people don't think they don't think about it like that because nowadays marriages aren't built on anything. The majority of them. I'll say that. Not all of them, but the majority of marriages, because everybody sees the fairy tale on TV, in Hollywood, movies, and all of that. Everybody sees the fairy tale. And so you're looking at the fairy tale, comparing yourself to the fairy tale. So your marriage now becomes the fairy tale instead of real life. I mean, that's a hard act to follow because those are actors. You're not. This is real life.
That's a huge thing. Like I said, I like a lot of stuff. I guess reading too. I just like Black history.
Yeah.
History about us, everything, everything. And that's what I told my wife. I think it got kind of skewed because now it's kind of you're doing there's monetary security reasons.
Yeah.
I had a baby after getting married, but it's just like when you really look at it before, like we got married in slavery. When I didn't have, when I was treated like a farm.
Yeah.
We were married through Jim Crow, Prohibition. We were married through, and it's just like through time, it's become if you don't do this or if you don't do that, but like I said, it circles back to that grace and mercy. It's just like, okay, well, everything is not always
right.
You're dealing with two different people from two different places,
two different say that.
And there's gonna be contention somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just how you deal with it.
Sure.
It's just figuring out what's your budget.
Right.
And her figuring out what's his budget.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, and I told my wife this, and she kind of laughed off. But then when I explained it to her, she kind of got it. And I'm just like, as your husband, I know what strokes your ego.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you should.
Yeah.
You should know.
and vice versa. I said, you know what strokes my ego.
Right.
And it's just like sometimes when we get down, when we feel whatever, however, like, you know exactly what to say to pull me out of it.
Yeah.
Where I could be just,
certainly. And
I could just be, just going through it, and I could be mentally spaced out, and those words that bring me right back. And it's just like, like I said, I feel like it's unreal. I feel like a lot of marriage problems come from unrealistic expectations.
Ooh.
And it's just like, like you said, because as a man, I understood that once I get married, I can't continue to do the same things. Even, in a relationship, there's certain things that, get dialed back, but in marriage, certainly it does.
Right.
It's just like, I can't expect that, okay, I'm going to do single things while I'm married.
Yeah.
It just doesn't go together.
You can't. You can't. You can't.
And it's like you put yourself in certain situations, even if it's on the up and up, at face value, some stuff just doesn't look good. Or you put yourself in certain situations, you are certain places where you are supposed to be, or you're doing certain things that's unbecoming of a married man, and it's just like, to me, it's just like, we have to understand each other.
Yeah.
Everybody else doesn't have to understand the manners, they just have to respect.
Man, say this.
And that's the big thing for us. Like, as long as we're on the same page, all the rest of it is noise.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if I was down and out tomorrow, who's going to be right beside me?
Her.
And that's the point, like, period. That's what I'm like. As long as we're on the same page, the rest of it will come down the rent. But, like I said, we just got to stay on the same page.
There you go. Well, you mentioned so many times during this interview, about being God-fearing, and I associate that with your faith. How important is that? Because I heard you, talk about the structure. It's God first, and then it's my wife, and then everything else. So how I understand how important that is because of the order that you placed it in, which I am of the same mindset. But how important is that to you?
It's it's really important to me because we we're playing out of the same place.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
it's just like we understand, like I said, you're my wife.
Right.
You honor me. I honor you.
Yeah.
It's and just like I told her, I said, it seems antiquated, it seems kind of, but I'm the protector.
Yep.
So if the door knocks at night, I need to be in front, you need to be behind me, and the kids need to be behind you.
Yeah.
And it's like as long as we keep everything, and I feel like that's a huge thing, and it's just like everything has to be orderly,
right?
Because nothing really strives in chaos.
You're right.
And that's a huge thing. It's just like not knowing, not understanding. Is she gonna be on today? Is she coming home today? Yeah. And it's just like, that's a huge thing. Like my wife got on me yesterday because I was rushing. I was late for work.
Wow.
She called me on the way to work. She said, "I'm still leaving out the house." I said, "Nah." And I was like, "Okay." And I, not even think about it, but holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
And understanding that, like I said, there's certain roles that you have, certain roles that I have. And it's not for one to look down upon the other. Right. It's to respect each. Yeah. Like I said, she's a, like I said, if there's money that needs to be paid, whether it's extra breakers, whatever, I'll take that. If I gotta get a second, third, fourth, whatever needs to be done, right. I feel like that's my responsibility as a man. Right. Which, like I said, some people feel is antiquated. Yeah. But in the same sense, when the baby cries, and she's the nurturer. Yeah. And like I said, I told my wife, look, once it hits 9 o'clock at night, you don't want me. He gonna be looking at me the same way he's looking at that wall. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, it's a bonding. Not saying that one is greater than the other, but right. It's different. You had him. You birthed him. And I get it. And let me say this. It's not saying that he's sexist. Y'all don't get it wrong. Because I know this man, he ain't sexist at all. But what he's saying is that there is a role that each play in nurturing and growing up a child. Regardless if you black, white, green, purple, whatever color you are. But what he's saying is there are roles that really are fulfilled in both parents. And that's exactly what you're saying. This is not sexist. He's not being, he's not being like that, no. But yeah, and that's the thing that's, different doesn't mean one is better, one is worse. Right. Different. Right. Like I said, we both, marriage is like yin yang. Yeah. And it's just like the things that you bring supplement what I bring. True. And like I said, the biggest thing is not necessarily stereotype of whatever role you think you like to leave it to be for type deal. That's right. Like, the thing is, me and you have to have an understanding. Yep. And so it's like, okay, if you say I take out the trash and you don't wash the dishes, that's our role. Yeah. Not one is greater than the other. It's a partnership. But, like I said, we getting it done. And like I said, marriage is when two become one. Like I said, we need to figure out how we're going to make this happen. Yeah. If it makes sense for us, if we can do it, if we find it, then that's what we're going to do. And like you said, your relationship might be slightly different. And hers might be the same. And it's, different people have different ways of living, different ideologies. But, like I said, the main thing is, we're doing what works for us. Yeah. Like I said, we feel like what we're doing is like what we're doing. Like I said, we keep each other, we keep each other centered. We keep each other grounded. We make sure we keep each other like I said, we're not working with fear, anger, and, and lust, and anything like that. We're operating, completely different.
Yeah.
So it's just like, once we, like I said, once we get on the same page, it's just the work staying on the same page.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if you in the same boat, she on 4, you on 7, you still ain't gonna, it still ain't gonna work.
It's not. It's not. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Life Show. My name is Tyrone Brown Jr. And this is our special guest tonight, my brother, DeShawn Benn. And again, he traveled a long way to get here tonight. But I'm appreciative of you coming here and sharing your story with us. Not only are we on Facebook Live, but we have our own website, which is right up here above us, www.thelifeshowpodcast.com, where you can go on there. You can see the shows live. Or tonight, we're on the radio as well, which is Hoosier Heat Radio. All you have to do is download the free app, and you can hear us via Hoosier Heat Radio. And so, again, just talking with you and conversing with you and getting some understanding out of I I get or I learn from everybody. And there's things that you spoke about today that I can take with me. When you talked about, even with the the roles, everything that works in my house may not work in yours. And everything that works in your house may not work in mine. But we find it, or we find out how to work it out together. And then that structure that you painted so beautifully, God, then is my wife, and then everything else, everybody else. Because if I keep things in perspective, then I will always set the boundaries based on the hierarchy in my mind. That's what causes us to live a better life, because that sets discipline. That sets discipline in our lives. I mean, at 32, to have that, but you already said that you hang around older people and get their insight. This is awesome, man. I love it. I love it. And, I mean, anything else that you want to, because there are young people that listen to us. Actually, we're in Greece, we're in Africa, we're all over the United States. So is there anything that you would speak to any other young person to give them a testament of, some insight that you receive that you can give out now?
I think the biggest thing for me is in actually forming my relationship. Once I kind of knew that where we were going, I dated.
Yeah.
And that purpose, I'm looking for a wife.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for anything that time filler. I'm not looking for somebody to fill a spot. I'm looking for a wife.
Yeah.
What am I looking for?
Yeah.
And does this person? But not only that, like I said, it goes back to that grace and mercy of understanding that, I'm imperfect.
Yeah.
And I think everybody who is married can agree that they're not perfect. So you can't wait your whole life waiting to, okay, well, when I'm perfect and I got the money I want and I got this I want and I got that I want and I'm stable and this and that day is never going to come.
Right.
So, like I said, the most of us that are younger, we figured out like, hey, I'm not perfect, but the best I can do is lay my cards on the table.
Yep.
Like I said, you lay your cards on the table, I lay mine on the table. And if you're willing to work with me and I'm willing to work with you, we can do this thing. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's waiting on perfection, waiting on the perfect this or the perfect that. Like I said, it's you have to understand who you are and what you are. You have to understand your flaws and embrace them.
Yeah.
And you have to embrace that, hey, I might be going into such a situation with a young lady And she understands that I struggle with this or that or that or this. And if she's willing to work with me, like I said, the thing she needs to work on, I need to have that same understanding. I need to have that same mercy, that same grace and understanding for her that she's going to have with me. And, like I said, it's prosperity. I mean, once you understand that, once you get a person that's on your page and a person who uplifts you, a person who motivates you, a person who makes you want to be a better person for them, everything else is, like I said, marriage isn't easy. But the thing is it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. It really and like I said, the good outweighs the bad. And you weather the storm, the small storms that come, and everything else, like I said, as long as you're on the same page, you're gonna have your smooth points, you're gonna have your rough patches. But to me, marriage is, like I said, marriage is one of the best things I ever done.
Wow. Wow. Well, you heard it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm so glad that you stopped by the studio just to chat it up and give your insight, your experiences tonight, because this is one of the things that I believe will help other people. I believe in the iron sharpens iron. I believe in the concept that we all need each other's experiences to help us to overcome our challenges, our experiences. And no, there is no one cookie cutter way. But there are things that I can pick up from you, you can pick up from me, so that we can know and understand how to live this life, the best life that we can. Because we all go through things. We all go through some kind of insecurity. We all go through some kind of, tragedy in our lives where we need somebody else to really, help to guide us through it. And that is what you displayed tonight. So I'm thankful, I'm grateful to you for coming and sharing your story. Listen, everyone, this is gonna be, it's already recorded. And so since it's already recorded, guess what? You guys will be able to go and look at it again and again, even from our website, from Facebook, from whatever social media site that it is posted to, from our YouTube, all of those things. You guys are be able to look at it. All right. And so again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the live show. Look, you don't want to miss every day. Every day the live show is on. All right. The only times that we are live is Sunday mornings, which is 5 a.m. until 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. Then we are live every Wednesday from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. Every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Every first Friday, which is this coming Friday, Fire Friday, we'll be on live. Y'all don't want to miss. My wife gonna be here in the studio. We gonna get it cracking, right? All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Look, have a safe and great evening. Until next time, look, peace and blessings. Have a great one.